Vin Diesel secretly steps into his own restaurant, then stops cold when he hears a server crying. Years ago, he had opened Torque's, a high-end yet welcoming restaurant in Los Angeles, California. But this wasn't just some vanity project or a side hustle to throw money at. Vin had spent years refining the menu, hiring the best chefs, and ensuring Torque's was a place where both Hollywood elites and everyday people could enjoy a great meal. But he also knew that no matter how successful a business looked on paper, numbers never told the full story. The real truth of a place? It wasn't in profit margins. It was in the back kitchens, the whispered conversations in break rooms, and the exhausted sighs of employees at the end of a grueling shift. That's why, every few months, Vin made a habit of walking into Torque's like any other customer. No flashy entrance, no announcement. Just a man in a hoodie and jeans, stepping into his own restaurant like anyone else. That night, the place was alive with energy. The Friday dinner rush was in full swing. Servers darted between tables, expertly balancing trays loaded with sizzling steaks and cocktails. The mouth-watering scent of garlic butter and grilled ribeye filled the air. Golden ambient lighting bathed the room, casting a warm glow over couples, friends, and solo diners alike. At first glance, everything seemed perfect. But Vin had been in the industry long enough to know that appearances could be deceiving. He spotted the manager, a tall, rigid man in a navy blue dress shirt, standing near the edge of the floor, watching everything too closely, like a hawk circling its prey. There was something about his stance that felt off, not just observant, controlling. Then, as Vin made his way toward the bar, he heard it. A soft, muffled sound coming from the side hallway near the kitchen. At first, he barely noticed, but as he walked past, the sound became clearer. Someone was crying. Not loud, not dramatic. The kind of quiet, stifled sobs you let out when you're trying desperately not to break. Vin slowed his steps, turning his head slightly toward the break room door. It was cracked open just enough. Inside, he caught a glimpse of a young woman, her head bowed, fingers gripping the edge of a metal counter like she was holding herself together. Beside her, another employee, a young man in a Torque's uniform, spoke in hushed, urgent tones. Vin didn't know her, but the look on her face hit him like a gut punch. Something was very wrong. And he wasn't leaving until he found out what. Vin turned back toward the bar, taking a seat on one of the stools. His face was calm, but his mind was racing. That cry, it wasn't just stress. It was fear. He had worked in restaurants before. He knew what it was like to deal with rude customers, exhausting shifts, aching feet. But this was different. His first instinct was to walk over and ask if she was okay. But right now, he wasn't Vin Diesel, the owner of Torque's. He was just another customer, a stranger. So instead, he listened. The young man beside her, probably another server, kept his voice low. Vin could only catch fragments. "You can't let him. He doesn't own you." The woman's voice was barely a whisper. "What choice do I have? If I don't do what he says, I'm gone." Vin's grip tightened around the glass of water the bartender had set in front of him. At first, he thought maybe it was about a rude customer. But the way she said it, this wasn't about a customer. It was about someone inside the restaurant. Before he could think further, a bartender approached. "Hey, what can I get you?" Vin turned, offering a polite smile. "Just water for now." The bartender nodded and moved on, but Vin barely noticed. His focus remained on the situation unraveling before him. Then, he spotted the manager again. Navy blue shirt, arms crossed, scanning the room with a kind of presence that made everyone nervous. And then something else caught his eye, the young man from the break room, now stepping back onto the floor. His jaw was clenched, hands fidgeting as he adjusted the notepad in his apron. He looked rattled. Vin recognized an opening when he saw one. Casually, he stood up, making his way toward the server station near the back, where the young man was organizing plates. "Hey man," Vin said, keeping his voice low. "Got a pen?" The young man looked up, startled. "Oh, yeah, sure." He grabbed one from the counter and handed it over. Vin took it, but didn't walk away. Instead, he glanced at the name tag. Tyler. "Hey, Tyler," Vin said, voice even. I couldn't help but notice. Your friend seems upset. Tyler stiffened. His grip on the plates tightened. She's fine, he said too quickly. Vin tilted his head slightly. She doesn't look fine. Tyler swallowed, his eyes darting toward the manager before dropping to the floor. That reaction told Vin everything. A long pause. Then, Tyler exhaled. She's not fine, he admitted, voice barely above a whisper. Vin studied his face, reading the tension in his jaw, the way his fingers gripped the notepad at his waist. The kid wanted to talk. He just wasn't sure if he could. Lowering his voice, Vin asked, "Is it a customer issue?" Tyler hesitated. And, in that pause, Vin got his answer. No. The way Tyler's eyes flicked toward the front of the restaurant, toward the manager in the navy blue shirt, told Vin exactly what he needed to know. This wasn't just a bad shift. This was a trap. And now, Vin wasn't going anywhere.